Brilliant. Okay, so a half-hour session this evening and using the small ball if you have one handy. But as I was explaining to the ladies there, if you don't have a ball, that's fine. You can still do the exercises just without, okay? So just don't panic if you don't have one. Or use a cushion or a pillow or something instead. So if you do have your ball, just have it handy beside you and bring yourself down onto the floor, lying down on your back with your legs bent, knees pointing up towards the ceiling. And we'll just start off with a little bit of our pelvic tilt, just tilting backwards, imprinting the lower spine into the floor, and just kind of warming up the pelvic area. And then getting your breath moving or flowing with that movement. So using your out breath as you tilt back, thinking also about your abdominal muscles and tightening in, bringing belly button in towards the spine. And then breathe in, release those abdominal muscles and release the pelvis. Breathe out, tilt back and tighten. You might even feel a contraction in the inner thigh muscles and even in your pelvic floor. It's all connected. Just a couple more. Lovely. Okay, then we'll just start straightening and then bending the legs. But I'd like you just to put your hands onto your hip bones as a little reminder to try and keep your pelvis really steady, keep your hips steady. So all that means is that when you're sliding your left leg away, you don't roll over to the left-hand side, okay? You keep both your sit bones nice and connected with the floor and just extend and straighten out each leg, one after the other. As we just kind of bring a little bit of gentle movement to the body before we go into the full exercises. And if you're like me, you'll get rid of all the wee clicks in your knees. Oh, somebody coming in. I can't make you unmute, Leanne. We're just doing our Pilates first, and then if you can come log back in after 1:15, if you can hear me. She can't hear me. Never mind. Okay, then if you just put your hands back down onto the floor, either side of your body, and just rock your knees from side to side. Again, just sort of warming up the body a little bit, getting a little bit of movement. Good. And then just bring your feet flat onto the floor. And if you can, grab hold of the small ball. And we're going to start by putting the ball in between our knees. I'm just going to try and... there, she's gone. That's okay. Sorry, back to full focus. Okay, so yes, ball in between the knees and feet flat on the floor and hands resting down on the floor beside you. Good. Now, all we're going to do is lift the legs in, lifting the knees in, and then lower the legs back down. Bring them back in, and then lower the feet down to the floor. So you can hear me breathing out as I lower the feet back down. That's to help keep this lower spine anchored down into the floor by contracting our core muscles as we lower the legs. Breathing out, flattening belly, spine is supported, tap the toes down. Breathe in and out. Breathe in, lifting knees in, and breathe out, lowering feet down. Good. Perfect. So hopefully feeling the core muscles working. If it feels too strenuous or you're having any problems with your lower back, just don't take the feet all the way down to the floor. Just bring them wherever you can and wherever you feel those core muscles sort of starting to contract and work. So it doesn't have to be a big movement. Good. Last couple. Brilliant. Okay, just rest your feet down onto the floor now. And then if you can bring yourself up onto your elbows. So you have your elbows underneath your shoulders. And try not to let yourself droop. So you want to keep everything nice and strong. So you might, sort of squeeze your shoulder blades together as if you're thrusting your chest up slightly. Good. Now I'm going to lift the legs, making them as straight as you can. If you need to, keep a little bend in the knees. And then we're just going to do nice circles of the legs in this position. Breathing out and breathing in. Making those circles as big or small as is comfortable for you. If it feels too much with yourself propped up on the elbows, try just lying back down again. Good. Now we're going to change direction of these circles. Good. Watch these shoulders, that we don't start to scrunch up to the ears. Brilliant. Good, last couple of circles. Lovely, and relax, feet down, and just bring yourself down onto the floor again. Good. Okay, we're going to put the ball down in between the ankles now, and roll over onto our side. So we're going to start off just lying flat down, so with your head resting on your arm. And try and get ankles, knees, hips and shoulders in a nice straight line. And we're going to go into our torpedo leg lift. Okay, so breath in to prepare. And then on the out breath, squeezing slightly onto the ball, just lift both your legs up off the floor and inhale to release. Exhale and lift. Good, inhale, release. Now, not only are we working the leg and thigh muscles, we're also working into our obliques, getting this lovely little side crunch happening. And just keep it really nice and slow. Good, 2 more. Brilliant. Okay, then from here, if you can prop yourself up onto your elbow again. So elbow comes in underneath your shoulder. Now we did this recently, I can't remember which class exactly, but one of them last week, where we come up and over, and then on our out breath, we roll back slightly, and then lift the legs up towards the hand. So try and do this with the ball. And then lower back down, roll back onto your side, arm up over your head. Good, exhale, roll back slightly onto that one bum cheek. Lift the legs, lower, and stretch. Now if it's too much, just lift one leg at a time, forget about the ball. Good, and again, nice and slow. If you do have the ball and you're wobbling around a wee bit, don't worry. That's all part of it. Lovely. Brilliant. Slight roll back and lift. And lower, roll forwards or back to your side. Good, 2 more. And stretch it out. Brilliant. Okay, now if you can bring that ball up in between the knees, and then bring yourself kind of into this sort of a position. So with your knees slightly forwards, maybe with your feet in line with your tailbone if you can. And then now there's different options. What we're going to do now is lift up the hips. So we come up into a little bit of a side plank and then lower. So you have options. You can press down with this hand to lift yourself up, or you can keep your hand up behind your ear. So you're really focusing more on the core muscles. Now play around with the position of the knees and the feet. If you've brought them too far forwards, it kind of changes things. So try taking them back with your feet kind of in line with your tailbone. Good. Just lifting and lowering. Again, working into our obliques. That's it. Lovely. Good. Now, I want you to lift up and hold if you can, and do 3 little squeezes of the knees onto the ball. 1, 2, 3. And then lower. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift up again. And squeeze. 1, 2, 3. And lower. Good. We'll do that another 3 times. Exhale up and squeeze. 1, 2, 3. Lower back down. Exhale, lift and squeeze. 1, 2, 3. And lower. Last one. Exhale, lift and squeeze. 1, 2, 3. And lower. Well done. Okay. Roll over onto your other side. Ball down between the ankles. And we start off with our torpedo leg lifts. Remember, if you don't have a ball, you're just lifting the legs together and pressing the feet down in towards each other. Okay? So resting the head down to begin with. Everything in a nice straight line, ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders. Good. Okay, take your breath in. And then on your exhale, slowly lift just as high as you can manage. Feeling the contraction in the obliques in the waist. Exhale up. Inhale, lower. Brilliant. Keep going. Slow, focused, controlled. Brilliant. Good, 2 or 3 more. Last one. Brilliant. Okay, from here we're going to go into the nice leg lift. So prop yourself up on your elbow, elbow underneath your shoulder. Give yourself extra padding if you need it. Start with the nice stretch up over with the arm. Inhaling, and then exhale. Roll back slightly. Lift the legs, lower the arm. Good. Breathe in. Legs come back down. Roll back onto the side. Stretch. And roll back and lift. Good. Down and forwards. Exhale, back and lift. Good. Legs down, roll forwards. Keep on going. Lovely. As fast or slow as you really need, okay? Trying to make it as slow as possible. The return as well can be nice and slow. So you're fully in control of the body at each point. Brilliant. A couple more. Brilliant. Then we move the ball up in between the knees. And bring the feet back in line with the tailbone. Shoulder over elbow again. And then if you need to, remember you can use the hands as you lift the hips. That free hand is there for extra support if you need it. Or keep the hand lifted up behind the ear. Whichever works best for you. Brilliant. Good. Couple more. Brilliant. Now on these next ones, we're going to lift up, hold, and do our 3 little squeezes. 1, 2, 3, and lower. Good. And again, lift and squeeze. 1, 2, 3, then lower. 3 more times. Exhale, up and squeeze. 1, 2, 3, and down. Twice more. 1, 2, 3, and last time. Exhale, up and squeeze. 1, 2, whoops, the ball, and 3. Good, well done. And then just roll from there down onto your back. And we're still going to keep the ball in between the knees. And we're still working into these obliques. So bring your arms out to the sides and with your hands facing up, if possible. My light is in my way. There we go, that's better. Okay, so with the ball in between the knees, just lift the heels up. So you're coming up onto your tiptoes first. And then we go into our nice tick-tocks. So we're going to roll the knees over to the right. So your left foot will lift up off the floor. Make sure you keep that left shoulder connected to the ground. Use the exhale to tighten in the abdominals and bring the knees back into the center. And then we switch. Over to the left-hand side, right foot lifts, but right shoulder stays connected. And exhale into the center. Keep going, side to side. Good. Breathing in on the way over and breathing out, coming back to center. One more this way. Brilliant. Now stay with your feet connected if that felt like enough for you. Otherwise, lift the legs up off the floor. Now get a little squeeze onto the ball. Now breathe in, let the legs fall over to the right, keep both shoulders connected. Breathe out, come back to center. Then over to the left, keeping both shoulders firmly on the ground. Exhale, back to center. Good, keep going. Brilliant. Now, if you want an extra layer, we can take the ball down in between the ankles and change the position of the legs to fully extended. And then it's just the same. A little squeeze onto the ball from the ankles. Legs fall over to the right. And then exhale. Come back to the center. Legs fall over to the left. And breathing out, back into the middle. And again, we don't worry about how far over we go. Just wherever we can manage to get to, but still keeping the shoulder firmly connected to the ground. Remember, you can drop back down to bent knees after a few rounds of straightened legs if it gets too much. And you can even come back down to where you started with your toes resting on the floor. And you're still getting a great oblique workout. So don't feel ever that by going down a level that you're reducing the impact. All you're doing is reducing the risk of injury, really, and making an exercise more manageable for your body. And therefore, you'll be able to keep going for a bit longer, hopefully. Good. Last one to each side. Brilliant. And then just come into the center. Knees still bent with the ball in between the knees. So bring it down in between the knees if you had it in between the ankles. And just have your feet flat on the floor. And we're going to bring our hands up now behind the head. So head is supported by the hands. Elbows nice and wide. Squeeze onto the ball now as we lift our head and shoulders up. So as we do our exhale, we're going to contract everything. Knees are going to squeeze, abs are going to contract, and we're going to lift up our head and shoulders. Okay, so nice big breath in. And then on the exhale, squeeze knees, squeeze abs, and curl. Then breathe in, release everything. Exhale, squeeze, tighten, lift. And release. Exhale, squeeze, tighten, lift, and release. Release, release. Exhale, squeeze, tighten, lift, and release, release, release. Good, keep on going. And hopefully really feeling this strong inner thigh work happening here, with the squeezing of the knees onto the ball. And that combined with our abdominal work is really effective at helping to strengthen and tighten all the muscles in around your pelvic floor and that whole area. Good, just a few more. And release. 3 more. Good, last one. Squeeze, squeeze, lift. And then just to finish us off with a real burn, we're going to come up again, but this time hold this position and do 5 squeezes of the knees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. We'll do that 2 more times and then we're just into our breathing and finish. So nice breath in. And then exhale, squeeze knees, tighten abs, lift. Stay up here, squeeze knees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Breathing in. And last time, exhale, squeeze knees, pull in abs, lift head and shoulders, and then squeeze knees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Brilliant. Good. Now just take the ball away and let your knees fall over to the right hand side, wherever they land is fine, and just look over your left shoulder. So just enjoying a little bit of a spine twist and a bit of a release. It's also a nice way to stretch across the side, the abdominals and obliques. And just breathe. You might like to let the eyes close now at this point as well, as we just allow the body to relax and soften again now after all of the squeezing and tightening. Good. One more breath on this side. And then bring the knees back through the center and let them fall over to the left and look over your right shoulder. Again, just allowing the legs to land wherever they land, closing eyes if you want to, and just breathing and allowing the body to soften, letting the muscles relax. Good. And then just bring the knees back into the center. Maybe put a hand to the belly and a hand to the ribs or the chest. And just finish with some lovely, long, deep breaths. Your body worked hard for the last 30 minutes, and now is your moment to just appreciate that and allow everything again to soften and relax. So just tune in and be aware of that happening in the body with each lovely long exhale. And then let's do 3 nice, strong, deep breaths just to finish. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And one more, in through the nose. And out through the mouth. And then again, as I keep suggesting, if you have the luxury of time and you can linger here for a bit longer, please feel free to do so. But I'm going to hit stop on the record now.